Boy Master 929 and welcome to my YouTube channel. So on this video we'll be solving x using completing the square. So now let's try to solve this question. So first thing we have to do here is to take this negative 2 to the right hand side, meaning we're going to have x squared plus 10x is equal to positive 2. Then from there we are going to focus on the coefficient of what? The coefficient of x. We are going to divide it by 2, then square it, and the answer we are going to write it at both sides, because what you do on the right hand side you also have to do it at the left hand side, meaning we are going to have x squared plus 10x plus 10 divided by 2 to the power of 2 is equals to 2 plus 10 divided by 2 to the power of 2. Then from there we are going to simplify. So we are going to have x squared plus 10x plus 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 5 to the power of 2 is 25. Is equals to 2 plus 25. Then from there we are going to try to factorize this side. So we are going to introduce two brackets. Then here we're going to have x and x. Then from there, what about sign? So we are going to have what? Positive here and positive here. Why? Because of this sign. This sign states that the sign of the sign in this bracket will be same as the sign of this bracket. And which side? The positive side. You see? Then from there, what about the factors? So the factors, we are going to make that we can add, and it give us what? Give us 10. And those factors are 5 and 5. And here we're going to have what? 2 plus 25 is 27. And one can note that at the left hand side we have what? X plus 5 multiplied by x plus 5, meaning we can write this as x plus 5 squared is equals to what? 27. Remember, here we are trying to solve what? We are trying to solve x, meaning we have to try all by means to make x the subject of the formula. So first thing here that we have to do here is to kill this exponent of 2. And how are we going to kill this? We are going to introduce the square root both sides. So meaning we are going to have the square root of x plus 5 squared is equal to the square root of what? 27. And at this side, when you introduce the square root, you have to introduce it with the signs, both negative and positive side. Then from there, let's go this side. Let's try to write it this side. Then from there, this square root will cancel the exponent of what? The exponent of 2, because we know that the square root is equal to the is equal to 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 multiplied by 2 is what? Is 1. So this side we are going to be left with x plus 5 is equals to, and this side we are still having what? Positive or negative square root of 27. So now let's try to isolate this x, because we are solving it. So now we are going to take this positive 5 and take it to the, meaning we are going to have x is equals to positive or negative square root of 27 minus 5. Then from there we can write square root of 27 as positive or minus as 3 square root of 3 minus 5. This thing is equal to the square root of 27. So this is our final answer. So now let's jump to example 2. So first thing that we have to do here is to write our equation in the standard form. And how are we going to make that? We are going to take this negative 8p to the left hand side, meaning we are going to have p squared plus 8p minus 5 is equals to 0. Then now you can see that our equation is in the standard form. So we have to do what? We have to take this negative 5 to the right hand side. Then we are going to have p squared plus 8p is equals to positive 5. Then from there we are going to focus on the coefficient of p, which is what? Which is 8. So now we are going to divide 8 by 2, then square the answer. And that answer we're going to write it both sides, because what we do on the right hand side we also have to do it at the left hand side. So now we are going to have p squared plus 8p plus 8 divided by 2 to the power of 2 is equals to 5 plus 8 divided by 2 to the power of 2. Then from there we are going to simplify what's in the bracket. So now we're going to have p squared plus 8p, then 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 squared is equals to what? Is equals to 16. Then from there we are going to jump to the right hand side, and we're going to have 5 plus 16. Then from there we are going to factorize this part, the left hand side. So here we are going to introduce two brackets. Here we are going to have p and p. Then what about signs? We're going to have positive and positive. Then the factors, we are going to look at the factors of 16 that we can add, and it give us what? And it give us 8, which is 4 and 4. You see, so how did we get this sign? These signs, we got it from here. You see, this positive sign state that both the sign of this bracket will be same as the sign of this bracket. Which sign? The middle, the sign, this sign, the one that is between p squared and 8p. Then from there, let's move to the right hand side. So at the right hand side, we're going to add 5 and 16. So 5 and 16 will give us 21. And one will note that at the left hand side, we have p plus 4 multiplied by p plus 4. So we can write this as p plus 4 squared is equals to 21. Remember, what are we trying to solve here? This time around we are solving for p, not x. So here we can change this thing to p. So here we are looking for p. So we are going to try by all means to make p the subject of the formula. So from here, how are we going to do that? We are going to introduce the square root. So we are going to say square root of p plus 4 squared is equals to, and even this side we are going to introduce the square root, but we are going to introduce it with both positive and negative side. You see? Then from there, this square root will kill this exponent 2. We're going to be left with p plus 4 is equals to positive or negative square root of 21. Then now we are going to try to isolate this p. So we are going to have p is equals to plus or negative square root of 21 minus 4. So this is our final answer. So our final answer is p is equals to square root of 21 minus 4 or negative minus 4. Or you can even write it as p is equals to square root of 21 minus 4 or negative square root of 21 minus 4. So this thing is same as this thing. So now let's jump to example 3. So here one can note that this equation is not in the standard form. So we have to try to make it or to write it in the standard form. So first thing that we have to do here is to remove the bracket, meaning we're going to have 2 multiplied by 6x, which is 12x, then plus 2 multiplied by x squared is equals to 2x squared. Then we are going to take this negative 4 to the left hand side, and we're going to have positive 4 is equals to 0. And this thing we can write it as 2x squared plus 12x plus 4 is equals to 0. Before we can apply the method of completing the square, first thing we have to divide both sides by 2. Why? Because when you do the method of completing the square, you have to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. But now our coefficient of x squared is 2, so we have to get rid of that 2. And how are we going to do that? We are going to divide both sides by 2. So we are going to be left with x squared. 12 divided by 2 is 6x, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 0 divided by 2 is 0. So now we can apply the method of completing the square. We can take this positive 2 to the right hand side. So we are going to have x squared plus 6x is equal to negative 2. Then from there we are going to focus at what? At the coefficient of x, which is 6. Meaning we are going to divide 6 by 2 and then square the answer, then write the answer both sides, because what we do at the right hand side we're also going to apply it at the left hand side, meaning we're going to have x squared plus 6x plus 6 divided by 2, then we square it, is equals to negative 2 plus 6 divided by 2, then we square it. Then from there we simplify, then we're going to have x squared plus 6x, 6 divided by 2 is 3 and 3 squared is 9, plus 9 is equals to negative 2 plus 9. Then from there we are going to try to factorize this side, which is the left hand side. So we're going to introduce two brackets, then we're going to have x here and we're going to have x here. And then what about the sign? We said that this positive sign state that the sign of this bracket will be same as the sign of this bracket. And which side? This side, and this side is what is positive side. So here we're going to write positive and here we're going to write positive. Then what about the factors? So the factors, we are going to look at the factors of 9 that we can add and give us what, and give us 6, and those factors are the ray and the ray. Then from there we're going to jump to the right hand side. So at the right hand side we have like terms, which is negative 2 and 9. So we are going to add them. So negative 2 plus 9 is positive 7. And one can note that we can write x plus 3 into x plus x plus 3 multiplied by into x plus 3 as x plus 3 squared is equals to 7. Remember, we are solving for x here, so we have to try by all means to isolate this x or make the x the subject of the formula. So what we are going to do here is to introduce the square root. So we are going to introduce square root both sides. So we're going to have square root of x plus 3 squared is equals to square root of 7, and this side we are going to introduce the square root with positive and negative side. So from there this square root will cancel the exponent of 2, because the square root is equal to the exponent of 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 will multiply these 2 and we will be left with x plus 3 is equals to positive or negative square root of 7. So now let's try to isolate this x. So we are going to take this positive 3 to the right hand side, meaning we are going to be left with x is equal to positive or negative square root of 7 minus 3. And we have stated that we can write this final answer as x is equals to square root of 7 minus 3, or x is equals to negative square root of 7 minus 3. So this is our final answer, or you can write it as like this from here until here.